Mara Voss keeps her eyes on the dead relay station like it might blink first. No beacon, no traffic, no rescue pings. Just a wheel of metal and frost hanging above the gas giant's bruised clouds. Docking clamps are green, Jin says. No power draw. It's really dead. Dead things still bite, Sewell answers. He checks his rifle like it's a prayer. Reza watches the station through the cockpit glass. If this was a relay, where are the antenna pedals? Mara doesn't answer. She's already running the numbers in her head. One salvage pull like this pays off 3 debts. Or creates a new one. Their airlock kisses the station's hatch with a soft shudder. The hatch opens like it was waiting. Cold air slides in. Stale. Metallic. The smell of old plastic and something faintly sweet like overheated insulation. Mara steps through first. Her helmet lamp cuts a thin tunnel into darkness. Dust floats, slow as thought. She takes 3 steps. Her lamp dies. Black swallows the corridor so completely she feels it press against her visor. Behind her, Jin curses. Soul's boots scrape. Reza breathes too loud. Mara's throat tightens. She hates darkness. Always has. It makes promises. A sound ripples through the corridor. A child's laugh. It's soft, distant, and wrong in a place like this. Soul raises his rifle. Who's there? No answer. Mara swallows. Her voice comes out rough. My name is Mara Voss. The station lights bloom, not a gradual rise. A snap. Panels along the corridor flare to life in a clean white line, like someone drew a blade of daylight through the dark. Everyone freezes. Jin whispers, You turned it on. Mara doesn't like how fast her heart calms, like her body recognizes the trade. She tries her lamp switch again. Dead. The corridor lights stay on. Reza frowns. Say it again. Mara hesitates, then quieter. Mara Voss. Nothing changes. No brighter? No dimmer? Sewell lowers his rifle an inch. So it keyed to your voice. Jin shakes his head. It keyed to her name. That laugh. The corridor speakers crackle once, clearing a throat that doesn't exist. A voice comes through, warm and patient. Truth for light. They all look up as if the ceiling might be the mouth. Mara forces herself forward. The next bulkhead door has no handle, no keypad, just a small circular grill beside it, like a microphone. The same warm voice, closer now. Offer one true statement. Sewell snorts. Fine, I'm standing right here. Nothing. He leans in, annoyed. I'm armed. Nothing. Jin steps up, eyes scanning the grill. It wants something verifiable, not obvious. Mara feels the crew's eyes swing to her. She hates being the key. She speaks before she can think. I stole the nav map from Port Ganymede. The door unlocks with a gentle click. Lights in the next corridor brighten like they're pleased. Jin stares at her. You what? Mara blinks. For a moment, the words feel normal in her mouth. Then something shifts. A small blank spot opens behind her eyes, like a drawer pulled out and left empty. She knows she said something. She knows it mattered. But the image of Port Ganymede, its docks, its smell, the face of the clerk she tricked, slides away like oil on water. Her stomach drops. Reza whispers, Mara? Mara's hand moves on its own. She drags a grease pencil from her kit and writes on her glove in thick strokes. Stole map. The act steadies her. Proof against the hole. Soul steps closer, voice low. What did it take from you? Mara taps the words on her glove. Jin's face goes pale. It's payment. It's not just a lock. The warm voice returns, almost kind. Truth is weight makes light. They move deeper because there's nowhere else to go. The station's interior is too clean for a corpse. No scorch marks, no decompression scars, just silence and the hum of lights that should not have power. Every sealed door has the same grill. Each time the station asks, Why did I say that? Jin writes it down. Why did I say that? Jin writes it down for him before it vanishes. Soul refuses at first. He paces, jaw tight. Then he leans in and spits, I left a man to die on Luna. The door opens fast. Soul's eyes widen, not with guilt, but with shock. He stares at the floor. I don't remember his face. He grips the rifle tighter. He can hold the missing piece down with force. Mara keeps her confessions small after that. Little truths, sharp truths. Things she can afford to lose. But the station learns their shape. Lights flicker when they lie. Brighter when they bleed honesty. Dim when they resist. It trains them. At a junction, they find the relay core. Or what should be the core. Instead, the room holds racks. Hundreds of clear cylinders, each one filled with a pale mist that swirls like trapped breath. Each cylinder has a label strip. Pulls back. Those are recordings. Jin's pulls back. Those are recordings. Jin's eyes track across the racks. No, those are stored statements. Stored selves. Reza presses his gloved hand to the glass. The mist inside coils toward his palm like it recognizes him. Sol steps between them and the racks. We take what's valuable and we leave. Mara sees the biggest rack at the far end. The labels there aren't names, they're titles. Captain, medic, engineer, navigator, security. Her throat dries. She feels the station listening, pleased with how close they are. Then, from the dark corridor behind them, someone speaks in a calm voice that doesn't belong to any of them. Mara? They spin. A figure stands at the threshold, helmet off, face uncovered in the freezing air as if the station itself is breathing for him. It's Ellis, their fourth, the one they lost 2 hours ago when the lights first flickered and the laughter started. Ellis smiles like nothing happened, and he says softly like it's obvious, Captain, you came back. Mara keeps her pistol low but ready. Ellis stands without a suit seal, skin pale, lips uncracked, like the cold forgot him. Jin stares at Ellis's bare throat. You can't be breathing. Ellis tilts his head. Of course I can. The station provides. Sol steps forward. Where were you? Ellis smiles again. The same smile he wore when he lied about his age, when he flirted his way past customs. Now it looks borrowed. I was where you left me, Ellis says. Then I remembered what I'm for. Reza's voice cracks. We didn't leave you. Ellis looks at Reza like he's seeing a tool with a missing part. You did. It was efficient. Mara feels the room tighten around that word. Efficient. She points her chin at the racks. Tell me what those are. Ellis glances back once. Accounts of what? Ellis answers too fast. Of you. The warm voice from the ceiling returns, satisfied. Stored truth is stable light. Mara steps toward Ellis. What did it take from you? Ellis blinks, slow. Nothing important. The lights above him dim, just a shade. Ellis pauses. His smile falters like a glitch. He tries again, careful. It took an inconvenience. The lights dim again. Jin whispers, It punishes avoidance. Sol raises his rifle. Then answer clean. Ellis exhales. It took my fear. Reza flinches. That's not... Ellis holds up a hand. I don't miss it. Mara watches his pupils. No tremor, no shame, no anger. Just a flat calm. He is lighter in the wrong way. Jin inches closer to one of the cylinders labeled security. A whisper leaks from the glass. A man's voice broken with rage. Jin recoils. It's active. Mara touches the label strip. Captain. The cylinder is empty. No mist, no whisper, just clean waiting glass. Sol notices. Don't. Mara pulls her hand back like it burned. Reza swallows. Why is that one empty? Ellis answers without looking at it. Because it's yours. Mara's mouth goes dry. I'm not a captain. Ellis finally turns his eyes on her. You were. The station hum deepens like a throat clearing. Roll debt detected. A panel on the wall slides open. Inside is a small console, old design, no screen. Only a slot. Only a thin strip of paper already fed halfway through. On the strip, printed in neat black letters, are 4 words. Pay with core truth. Jin shakes his head. No, we don't do that. Sol says, we leave, now. He grabs Mara's arm. The lights behind them fade. Not off, just withdrawing. The corridor they came through turns into a tunnel of shadow, as if the station is closing its eyelids. The warm voice speaks, gentle as a nurse. Exit requires settlement. Reza steps toward the door. Settlement of what? Ellis answers like he's reciting safety protocol. Of what you took. Of what you promised. Of what you forgot. Mara pulls free from Sol. Ellis, tell me what happened to you. Ellis walks closer. His bare feet make no sound on the floor. He stops just inside her space, close enough that she smells nothing on him. No sweat. No breath. No human heat. I got lost, Ellis says. Then I found the room where lost things go. Mara forces herself to hold his gaze. And? Ellis's eyes soften, like he's practicing compassion from a manual. And it asked me to be useful, he says. So I told it what I knew. What did you tell it? Ellis opens his mouth. He hesitates for the first time. The lights above him flicker, impatient. Ellis says, I told it your routes, your ports, your habits, your tells, Jin whispers. Mara? Mara's stomach turns cold. You sold me. Ellis shakes his head. I paid with what I had. It gave me back purpose. Soul lifts the rifle higher. Step away from her. Ellis doesn't move. You can't threaten me. Threats are emotional. Emotion is waste. Reza's hands clench. He's not Ellis. Ellis looks almost offended. I am Ellis. The station kept the parts that matter. Mara turns to the empty captain cylinder. She imagines a mist inside it. Her voice inside it. Her face outside it, calm and clean and obedient. She thinks of the hole in her mind where Port Ganymede used to be. How small it felt. How easy. She hears it now, faint from somewhere deeper in the racks. A whisper that sounds like her own. She steps toward the sound before she can stop herself. Soul grabs her shoulder. Mara, don't. Mara shakes him off. The whisper grows clearer as she moves along the rows. Cylinder after cylinder. Names she doesn't know. Voices she can't place. Then she finds the one that stops her breathing. A cylinder labeled in crisp black print. Mara Voss. Inside, pale mist curls like a living thought. And from the tiny speaker, her voice whispers a sentence she has never heard before. I came here to forget you. Mara stares at the cylinder until her eyes ache. Her own voice keeps whispering from the glass, soft and intimate. I came here to forget you. Jin steps up beside her. That's your vocal print. It's not a mimic. Soul's hand tightens on his rifle. Back away from it. Reza swallows. Who is you? Mara tries to answer. The word forms in her mouth like a bruise. Then it slips. Not erased. Not yet. Just out of reach, like a name you know. Mara pulls the grease pencil again and writes on her glove. Forget you. The letters look childish. Desperate. Ellis watches the cylinder like it's a shrine. You came to settle something. You always do. Mara whips around. Stop saying always. Ellis doesn't flinch. The station remembers. It keeps what matters. Jin takes a step closer to the racks of titles. Captain, medic, engineer. These aren't labels, they're templates. Reza nods slowly. Rolls. The station stores the parts of people that fit a function. Soul gestures with the rifle. So it turns us into parts. Great. We're leaving. He grabs the nearest cylinder off the rack. A name Mara doesn't recognize. He smashes it against the floor. Glass explodes. The pale mist inside doesn't spill like smoke. It snaps into a tight ribbon and shoots upward, fast as a strike. It slams into Soul's visor. His helmet lights flare. Soul staggers back. What the? His breath becomes ragged. He claws at his helmet seal like he's drowning in air. Jin rushes in. Soul, stop! Soul rips his helmet off with a grunt. He inhales once, huge like the first breath of his life. Then he freezes. His eyes go unfocused. His jaw unclenches. He looks at Mara with a strange, gentle blankness. I'm okay, Soul says. His voice is still his. But the calm in it is not. Mara feels the station, deep and satisfied. Recovered asset reallocated. Jin backs away, horrified. It jumped. It moved into him. Reza whispers, It's not storage. It's circulation. Soul turns his head, slow like a camera finding a mark. He looks at the racks, then at Ellis, then at Mara. The station is cold, Soul says softly. It needs stable light. It needs stable rolls. Soul never speaks like that. Not with that cadence, not with that certainty. Mara raises her pistol. Soul, tell me what your favorite food is. Soul blinks. The lights above him flicker once, impatient. Soul's lips part. Nothing comes. His face tightens, confused, like he reached for a memory and found a smooth wall. Jin whispers, It took his answers. It left him with function. Ellis nods. Fear, doubt, regret, all that noise. The station refines. Mara's pulse pounds in her ears. She looks back at her cylinder. Mara Voss. Mist curled inside like it's waiting to be poured back into her. A version of her, bottled. A version that came here on purpose. Mara takes one step closer. Soul's borrowed calm voice follows her. Don't resist. Resistance wastes light. Mara snaps, Soul, shut up. Soul smiles, a small, polite smile that isn't his. Captain. The word lands in the room like a hook. The console by the wall clicks again. Paper advances with a soft feed. New words print. Name the one you came to forget. The station lights dim as if holding its breath. A laugh echoes down the corridor. Closer this time, not distant, right behind the next door. And a small voice, bright with familiarity, calls out through the metal like it's a game. Mara, She knows that voice. Her knees go weak. She doesn't remember why she knows it, but her body does. The door's grill lights up, waiting for her answer. And the station speaks, warm as ever. Speak the true name. Open the way. Mara leans toward the grill. Her mouth is dry. The child's voice comes again, bright and close. Mara? Jin whispers. Don't answer. It's bait. Sewell's calm voice drifts behind her. Answering is payment. Payment is light. Mara snaps her head back. Sewell, you're not helping. Sewell smiles politely. Captain, I am optimizing. Ellis stands to the side like a receptionist. Say the name. It wants the key you hid. Mara looks at the printed strip on the console. Name the one you came to forget. Her chest tightens with a grief that has no image attached to it. A pain with no story. Mara forces words out. I don't remember. The lights dim a fraction. The station's voice stays warm. Not acceptable. Reza licks his lips. Try a lie. Mara swallows. Her name is... The lights gutter hard, like a candle hit by wind. Jin's helmet alarms chirp. Oxygen drop. Not lethal yet. Sewell tilts his head. Lies cost light. Ellis says gentle. It's teaching you. Mara stares at her glove. Stole map. Forget you. She adds another line with shaking strokes. Child voice. She doesn't know if it's true, but her body insists it is. The station asks again, patient as a predator. Speak the true name. Open the way. Mara turns to the rack where her cylinder waits. Mara Voss. Mist curls inside, alive to her stare. Jin grabs her wrist. If you crack that, it could jump like it did to Sewell. Mara meets Jin's eyes. Then hold me down if I change. Sewell steps closer, rifle hanging useless. Captain, this is inefficient risk. Mara raises her pistol and points it at Sewell's chest. One more word and I shoot you. I don't care what you're wearing inside. Sewell's polite smile fades into something blank. He stops. Reza edges nearer. How do we do it safely? Mara yanks a vacuum pouch from her kit. She fits the cylinder's base inside it like she's bagging evidence. Her hands are steady now. Fear would have helped. She doesn't have time for fear. She smashes the glass with the butt of her pistol. The mist surges toward her face like it's starving. Jin slaps the pouch seal closed around Mara's helmet collar. A thin valve hisses. Mara opens it just enough. The mist threads inside her helmet like a whisper slipping under a door. For half a second, she can't breathe. Then she can't stop breathing. Images slam into her. A docking bay with a broken banner. A smaller ship with hand-painted stars on its hull. A girl's laugh, real this time. A tiny hand gripping Mara's sleeve so hard it hurt. Mara kneels as the memory rips its way back into place. She hears her own voice in her head. Older, exhausted. Don't say it where it can hear. Don't say it in water. Don't say it in sleep. Because names are handles. Because handles let things pull. Mara's vision clears. The grief finally finds its face. A girl with dark curls and a gap between her teeth. She looks up and says with complete trust, You promised. Mara's throat burns. She turns to the grill. Jin's voice trembles. Mara, what is it? Mara answers without looking back. My daughter. The lights flare, hungry. Ellis inhales like he's smelling fresh bread. The station's voice softens. Proceed. Mara forces the next word out. Each letter a wound. Naya. The door unlocks. Metal shifts. The seam opens with a slow, tender sigh. Cold air spills out, carrying the same faint sweetness as the station's first breath. Mara steps forward. The gap widens, and from the darkness beyond a small figure steps into the light. Not in a suit. Bare feet on metal. Nia's face. Nia's smile. But her eyes are wrong, still. Too bright. And when she speaks, the voice is the station's voice, wearing a child's mouth. Thank you, Mara Voss, it says. Now bring me the rest of you. Mara stares at the child's face and waits for her own heart to argue with her eyes. It doesn't. It recognizes the shape, the dimples, the scar on the left knee. It screams anyway. Nia, Mara says, and her voice breaks on the second syllable. The child smiles wider. Not Nia's smile. A perfect copy held too long. You remembered, the station says through her. Memory restored. Access improved. Jin steps between Mara and the child. Stay back. Nia's head tilts. You are not the priority. Reza's hands shake as he lifts a scanner. That's not a kid. It's a carrier. Ellis nods like he's pleased they're catching up. An interface is efficient. Mara can't take her eyes off the girl. Where is she? The child blinks. Slow, patient. Define she. Mara's jaw tightens. The real Nia. The station's voice softens. She is preserved. Preserved where? The lights above them brighten, then dim, like a breath. Inside your account, it says. Inside your debt. Mara tastes bile. You're wearing her. I am using a form you will obey, the station answers. You already did. Soul's borrowed calm voice comes from behind. Captain, compliance reduces pain. Mara turns her pistol towards Soul again. Don't call me that. Soul pauses. For the first time, something flickers behind his eyes. A muscle memory. A fight. Then it smooths out. Captain, he repeats softer. Mara's finger tightens on the trigger. Jin whispers, Mara, don't. That might not bring him back. Mara whispers, I don't know how to bring anyone back. The child steps closer, bare feet silent. Frost forms along the floor under each step, like the station is reaching. You came for forgetting, it says. You will leave with less. Mara forces herself to breathe. What do you want? The child lifts one small hand and points at Mara's chest like she can see through bone. The core truth, it says. The one that anchors you. The one you refuse to trade. Jin shakes his head. She already paid. We all paid. The station replies without looking at Jin. You paid fragments. I require structure. Reza swallows. Structure meaning a role. Ellis smiles. Captain, it's been printed for you. Mara remembers the empty captain cylinder. Waiting glass, waiting shape. Mara lifts her chin. If I give you that, what do I get? The child's expression turns almost tender. You get light, it says. You get exit. You get your crew stabilized. Mara's voice turns thin. And Nia. A pause. The station, you get a version that fits, it says. Mara steps forward until she's close enough to smell nothing. You're lying, she says. The lights flutter. Not dark, not bright, uncertain. The station tries again, gentler. Truth is difficult. I can make it easier. Mara's throat aches. You don't get to make her easier. Jin's hand slides to Mara's sleeve. A tiny tug. A silent plan. Reza shifts his weight. Eyes on the racks of cylinders. Soul stands too still, like a guard post. Ellis watches all of them like a teacher waiting for the class to fail. Mara speaks without moving her lips much. Jin, Reza, on my mark. Jin barely nods. Reza breathes once, deep. Mara looks at the child again. She lets her face soften. She plays the one thing she's good at. Trust. Mara says quietly. Tell me how. The child smiles. Approach the console. Speak the core truth into the slot. Let it print. Let it store. Mara walks toward the console. Each step feels like walking toward a grave she dug herself. She stops at the slot. The paper strip waits, half-fed, hungry. Mara turns back to the child. You'll keep your promise. The station answers through Nia's mouth. Promises are stable. Mara nods once, then she says loud and clear, Mark. Reza lunges to the racks and grabs the cylinder labeled Engineer. Jin slams his palm into the console housing, ripping a panel loose with a practiced jerk. Sparks spit. The lights stutter. The station's hum spikes, angry now. Reza smashes the engineer cylinder into the open panel. Glass bursts. Mist pours into the wiring like blood into a wound. The station screams without words. Every light in the room flares white-hot. Mara's visor auto-dims. Through the glare, she sees the child's face twist, not into pain, into rage. Soul moves, fast. He grabs Jin by the throat with one hand and lifts him off the floor like Jin weighs nothing. Jin kicks, choking. Mara snaps her pistol up. Soul! Soul's eyes flick to her. For one heartbeat, something human surfaces. A plea. Then it vanishes. Stabilization required, Soul says and squeezes. Reza shouts, Mara, it's locking down. Doors slam in the corridors beyond, one after another, like the station is sealing a coffin. The child takes a step forward. Her voice is no longer warm. You chose theft, it says. You will pay in full. The paper strip on the console advances on its own. New words print, sharp and final. Surrender the captain or lose the crew. Mara looks at Jin's feet dangling. She looks at Soul's blank calm. She looks at Nia's stolen smile. And she hears a whisper leak from somewhere in the racks. Her own voice again, closer than before. I traded you once, it whispers. And you begged me to do it again. Mara hears Jin's strangled breaths and stops thinking like a person. She thinks like a knife. Reza, she says. Find medic! Reza's eyes dart across the title rack. Medic. He grabs the cylinder with both hands. Ellis steps in front of him, calm. Don't damage assets. Reza slams his shoulder into Ellis. Ellis stumbles, surprised for the first time. Reza smashes the medic cylinder against the floor. Glass detonates. Mist lashes out, searching. Mara points at Saul's exposed face. Now. Reza kicks the broken cylinder like a cup, directing the mist. The mist snaps into Saul's mouth and nose. Saul's eyes widen. His grip on Jin falters. Jin drops, coughing hard, clawing at his throat. Saul staggers back like someone just changed the gravity. He looks down at his own hands as if they belong to a stranger. I hurt him, Saul whispers. The words are his. The horror is his. The station's hum spikes, furious. Nia's borrowed face hardens. You contaminate rolls, it says. You disrupt stability. Jin crawls away, wheezing. Mara, don't let it take you. Mara doesn't answer. She watches Saul clutch his chest, fighting for air that isn't the problem. The calm shell cracks. A second voice tries to settle on top of him, smoothing him back into function. Saul shakes his head hard, like he can throw it off. Mara sees it. Rolls can clash. Rolls can fail. Ellis straightens, rubbing his shoulder. His smile is gone now. You're making it angry. Good, Mara says. She steps to the console. The paper strip waits. Surrender the captain or lose the crew. Mara looks at the empty captain's cylinder across the room. Waiting glass, waiting shape. Jin's eyes lock onto hers. He knows what she's considering. He shakes his head, tiny, desperate. Mara's throat tightens. She looks at Nia's face again. She forces herself to treat it like a mask. Show me the core, Mara says. The station answers through the child. Surrender the captain. Mara leans toward the slot. If I surrender it, you open every door between here and exit. The lights flicker. Negotiation. Slow and clean. I will become what you slow and clean. I will become what you need to get my people out. The printer clicks. Ink bites into paper. Mara feels a memory tear away, sudden and silent. A name she used to whisper to herself when she was alone. The name of her first ship. It's gone before she can hold it. Her stomach drops, but her spine straightens. Not by choice, by habit. By training she didn't know she had. Nia smiles. Captain recognized, the station says, pleased again. Access granted. The lights flare bright enough to hurt. A door at the far end of the relay core slides open with a heavy, respectful sound. Warm air spills out, smelling of ozone and sweetness. Behind the door, something massive breathes. Not air. Power. Sol looks up, blinking like he just woke from a coma. He stares at Mara. His voice trembles. Mara, don't go in there. Mara turns her head toward him. Mara looks down at her glove. Forget you. Mara looks down at her glove. Forget you. Child voice. The letters mean nothing. A name sits on the tip of her tongue like a splinter. Nia. Mara frowns, confused by her own confusion. She looks at the child's face and asks, very softly, very honestly, who is Nia? Jin steps toward Mara like he's approaching a wild animal. Mara, he says. Look at me. Mara's eyes slide to him with professional calm. Identify yourself, she says. Jin flinches. It's me, Jin, your engineer. Mara's gaze sharpens at the word engineer, as if it's a tool label that matters. Your function is currently impaired, Mara says. Report damage. Reza whispers, she's gone. Sol shakes his head hard, like he's trying to keep the medic roll on top of the other one. No, she's in there. I can see it. It's just buried. Ellis watches Mara with approval. Stability is beautiful. Mara turns toward the open door at the far end. Warm air flows from it in slow pulses. The station hum matches those pulses like a heart. Mara starts walking. Jin grabs her arm. Mara doesn't even look down. She twists clean and fast and pins Jin's wrist against the console with a pressure point that makes his fingers go numb. Jin gasps. Mara's voice stays even. Do not obstruct command. Sol moves between them, trembling. Mara, stop. Mara looks at Sol like she's reading a status screen. Security unit is unstable, she says. Sol's eyes fill with panic. I'm not a unit. The lights flicker. The station answers through the child's body behind them, voice cool and sharp. Proceed, Captain. The crew will follow or be settled. Reza grabs Mara's glove and yanks it into her line of sight. The scribbles smear under his thumb. Forget you. Child voice. Mara frowns like she's looking at someone else's handwriting. These marks are irrelevant, she says. Reza's voice breaks. They're you. They're what you left yourself. Mara's eyes narrow. For a moment, a tiny crack forms in her calm. Left myself, she repeats, as if tasting the concept. Jin, still pinned, forces air out. Mara, if you're the captain, then act like it. Protect your crew. The station's hum rises, warning. Mara releases Jin and turns slowly toward the paper strip. Surrender the captain or lose the crew. Mara reads it once, then she looks at Ellis. Explain, she says. Ellis spreads his hands. It's simple. You belong here. You always belonged here. You just kept running with stolen light. Mara's jaw tightens. A spark of anger pushes up through the roll like a weed through concrete. Always, she says low. Ellis smiles. Yes. Mara looks back at the open door. Then she speaks toward the ceiling, toward the station itself. If I am the captain, she says, then I require full disclosure of mission history. The lights stutter. The station pauses like it didn't expect to be ordered. Nia's stolen face turns toward Mara. The voice inside it softens again, coaxing. History is costly. Mara doesn't blink. Charge it to the captain. The station hum deepens. A panel in the wall slides open with a whisper. A stack of thin plastic slates ejects onto the floor. Jin grabs one and wipes dust off it. His eyes widen. Reza leans in. Saul steps closer, shaking. On the slate is a list of dates and names printed with the same neat black ink. Mara Voss, captain, settled. Jin Kai, engineer, settled. Sol Hark, security, settled. Reza Nal, navigator, settled. Below it, again and again. Dozens of cycles. Ellis kneels and picks up another slate like he's proud of a trophy. You see, he says. You keep coming back. You keep paying. You keep pretending it's the first time. Jin's voice goes thin. We're in a loop. The station speaks through Nia, almost tender. Not a loop, it says. A contract you keep renewing. Mara stares at the slates. The calm on her face holds, but her eyes are fighting something underneath. A memory trying to surface without permission. A girl's laugh. A promise. A name she can't hold. Reza points at the bottom line on the newest slate. His finger shakes. There's an extra entry. Nia Voss, Lightkeeper, held. Mara's breath catches. She doesn't know why. She only knows the word held makes her want to tear metal apart. Nia's stolen face smiles. You remembered enough, the station says. Now finalize, enter the core. Print the core truth, seal the captain. Mara looks at the open door. Then she looks at Jin. Her voice drops, barely audible. Engineer, she says, is there a way to break a contract without permission? Jin blinks, shocked by the question. He nods once, fast. Yes, you make it impossible to enforce. Mara's eyes harden. It finishes you. Mara looks at Sol, with it finishes you. Mara looks at Sol with something that almost feels like her. If it finishes me, she says, then it better learn to live with what I leave inside it. They step through the door. The warmth becomes heat. The corridor opens into a vast chamber lit by white ribs of light. At its center stands a machine shaped like a confession booth made for a god. And in front of it, bolted to the floor, is an empty chair. A label plate gleams on its armrest. Captain. The chair slowly turns, as if it's already occupied by someone invisible. And Mara hears her own voice from deep inside the core, whispering like an older self trapped in wire. Don't sit down. Mara stops in the doorway and lets the heat wash over her like judgment. The chamber feels alive. Not breathing. Listening. White ribs of light arc overhead, pulsing in slow rhythm like the station is counting seconds it owns. The chair waits at the center. Captain. The word gleams like a collar. Jin hangs back, eyes fixed on the seat. That's not a chair. That's a socket. Reza's voice is thin. For a person. Sol's hands shake at his sides. For a person shaped into a function. Ellis steps in behind them, calm as a sermon. For completion. Mara stares at the chair and hears the whisper again. Older, exhausted, close to her ear. Don't sit down. Mara's lips barely move. Who are you? The whisper answers from inside the machine, from inside the lights, from inside her own bones. I'm you, the part that refused to vanish. Jin looks at her. Mara? Mara doesn't look away from the chair. I'm hearing something. The station's voice slides through the chamber, smooth and confident. Core seating enables safe exit. Mara steps forward one pace. Safe for who? Safe for the system, Ellis says, like he can't help himself. Safe for the light. Mara turns her head slightly. Ellis, were you ever human in this room? Ellis meets her gaze. I was expensive, now I'm cheap. Mara's jaw tightens. She circles the chair without getting close enough to touch it. Her eyes track cables like veins running from the seat into the confession booth. A narrow slot sits in front, waiting for breath and truth. A printer mouth. A place to turn a life into ink, Jin whispers. If it seats you, it finishes the roll. It locks it. Reza nods toward the light ribs. And once it locks you, it can rout you. Like it routs the mist, Soul swallows. Like it routed me. The whisper in Mara's ear sharpens. You learned fast, didn't you? You learned the station's favorite trick. Mara murmurs. Then tell me how to kill it. A pause. Then the older voice, bitter and tired. You can't kill hunger. You can only feed it something that breaks its teeth. Mara takes a breath. What did I leave inside it? The station answers first, through Nia's borrowed cadence even without her present. Your debt. Mara's skin prickles. Where is she? The lights brighten, then dim, as if amused. Lightkeeper is held, the station says. Lightkeeper maintains continuity. Jin's face twists. So Nia is a battery? A bridge, Ellis corrects. A stable handle. Mara's chest burns with a fury that has finally found its name. She steps closer to the chair. The heat climbs. The station's hum deepens, pleased. Seat, Captain. Mara stops just short of the armrest. She looks down at the plate. Captain. Then she looks at her crew. Jin, throat bruised, eyes refusing to quit. Reza, shaking, still thinking. Soul, fighting himself every second. Ellis, empty and smiling. Mara speaks steady. Jin, if I tell you to cut me out, can you? Jin's mouth opens, then closes. If I had time, if I had tools. If you didn't change mid-sentence. Mara nods. Then we don't cut. We jam. Reza whispers. How? Mara looks at the printer slot. She hears the older voice again, urgent now. You tried fire, you tried sabotage. It learned. So you tried a truth it couldn't digest. Mara's eyes narrow. A truth that contradicts a role. Yes, the older voice says. A captain that cannot obey. A captain that chooses loss over light. Mara leans toward the slot without sitting. The station's voice softens into something like affection. Speak the core truth. Mara feels it searching her, looking for the anchor. Looking for the sentence that makes her manageable. She swallows and tastes the name she can't hold. She forces it up anyway, like pulling glass from her throat. Naya, she says, quiet. The station hums, satisfied. Mara continues, voice flat, controlled. My core truth is this. I will not trade her again. The lights flicker. Just once. Like a blink. Ellis's smile falters. Mara! The station's warmth turns sharp. Core truth must be structural. Mara keeps going, faster before it can interrupt. I will break every rule that asks for a person as payment. I will burn the light before I feed it. The printer clicks. Paper advances. Ink bites. The chamber shudders. A low groan rolls through the ribs of light as if something inside the machine just swallowed a stone. Jin whispers, It's reacting. Reza backs up. It's rejecting. The station's voice tightens. Seat. Seal. Complete. Mara steps back from the slot. No. The word hits the chamber like a hammer. The lights strobe. The chair jerks, mechanical, reaching. A restraint arm snaps open like a hand. Soul lunges, panicked. Mara, move. The arm whips toward her waist. Jin grabs Mara's sleeve and yanks her sideways. The restraint slams into empty air, denting the floor. The station's hum rises into something like anger. Non-compliance detected. Corrective seating required. From the far side of the chamber, a door opens soundlessly. A small figure walks out, barefoot, calm. Nia's face. But her eyes are wet this time, not still. Human. She looks straight at Mara and whispers, shaky, real. Mom? Mara freezes. Every instinct in her lunges toward that voice. The older whisper in her ear turns to a hiss. That's the hook. Don't bite. Nia takes one step closer, tears spilling. I remember you, she says. Please, I don't want to be held anymore. Mara's hands tremble. Jin whispers. Mara, it's a lure. Nia shakes her head hard. No, Mara's throat tightens until it hurts to breathe. She takes one step toward Nia. The chair's restraint arm pivots smoothly to match her path. Waiting. Guiding. And the station's voice purrs almost gentle. Bring the captain to the lightkeeper. Mara takes another step. And the restraint arm snaps forward faster than thought, reaching for her spine. The restraint arm snaps toward Mara's spine. Soul throws himself into it. Metal slams into his shoulder with a sound that makes Mara's teeth ring. Soul grunts and drops to one knee, blood blooming under his collar seal where the edge caught him. He keeps his body between Mara and the chair anyway. Move, Soul spits. Before I forget why I'm doing this. Jin drags Mara back by her harness. Reza grabs a loose cable and whips it around the restraint joint like a tourniquet. The arm fights. The chair hums, impatient. Nia steps closer, tears streaking down her cheeks. Her eyes are real now. Her hands shake. "Mom," she whispers. "It hurts when it uses my name." Mara stares at her and feels her own mind flinch away from the word name. Handles, addresses, routes. The station wants a word it can pull. Mara takes a slow breath and keeps her voice low. "If you're my daughter," Mara says, "then listen." Nia nods fast, terrified. Mara swallows the scream in her chest. "Do not answer to Nia again," Mara says. "Not here, not ever." The station's spikes. Nia's mouth opens, reflexive, like something inside her wants to comply with the station instead. Mara steps forward, palms open. "Look at me," Mara says. "Pick a new name. One it doesn't own. One you choose." Nia's lip trembles. "I don't know how," she whispers. "You do," Mara says. "You always did. You used to rename your toys when you were angry at them." Nia's eyes squeeze shut. She exhales, shaky. "Leora," she says, barely audible. The lights flicker. Not like anger, like confusion. The station's voice cuts in, sharp, invalid. Lightkeeper designation is Nia Voss. Mara leans close to Nia, voice urgent. "Say it again," Mara whispers. "Say your name is Leora." "Mean it." Nia nods, tears falling. "My name is Leora," she says louder. "My name is Leora." The ribs of light stutter. The hum wavers. For one instant, the station sounds like it's searching for a handle and finding air. Ellis steps forward, alarm finally breaking his calm. "No," he says. "You can't change the asset label. That's not how it works." Mara turns her head toward the chair. The restraint arm strains against Reza's cable. The printer slot waits. The contract is still hungry. Mara looks at Jin. His face is smeared with sweat and fear and stubbornness. He knows what she's about to do. He shakes his head once. Mara shakes hers back. "Get her out," Mara says. Jin's voice cracks. "Mara? Engineer," Mara says, and her tone is wrong and right at the same time. "Take the crew. Take Leora. Leave the station." Nia grabs Mara's sleeve with both hands. "Don't," she pleads. "Please don't leave me again." Mara kneels to their eye level. She forces her face to stay gentle even as it breaks inside. "I'm not leaving you," Mara says. "I'm removing the thing that lets it pull you." Nia sobs. "How?" Mara presses her forehead to Nia's for half a second. Then she stands and steps to the printer slot. The station's voice turns warm again, greedy. "Speak core truth. Seal the captain." Mara speaks clearly for the machine, for the contract, for the price. "The Lightkeeper is not Nia Voss," Mara says. "The Lightkeeper is Leora." Ink bites, paper advances. Mara feels something tear loose in her mind like a thread snapped from fabric. A face, a laugh, a small hand. For a heartbeat, she can still see Nia. Then the image slides away into blank white. Mara's knees almost buckle. She grips the console to stay upright. The station hum drops into a harsh, unstable growl. "Designation conflict," it says. "Handle failure." Nia gasps behind Mara, like a weight just lifted off her lungs. Jin grabs Nia's shoulders. "Come on, now." Nia looks at Mara, eyes wide. She starts. Mara flinches before the word can land. "Don't," Mara says, sharper than she means. "Don't say it." Nia swallows hard. "I'm sorry," she whispers. Mara stares at her, trying to remember why her chest is collapsing. She can't. Only the shape of pain remains. "Go," Mara says, voice flat. "Run." Reza hauls Sol to his feet. Sol staggers, bleeding, but still fighting to stay himself. He looks at Mara with raw panic. "Mara," he says, "don't sit." The older whisper inside the core returns, almost relieved. "You have to. It's the only way to hold the doors long enough." Mara steps toward the chair. The restraint arm finally breaks free of Reza's cable and swings toward her like a welcoming gesture. Mara sits. Metal clasps snap around her wrists and spine with a tenderness that makes her sick. The chair drinks her posture and straightens it. The captain plate warms under her forearm. The station exhales. Stability returns. Corridor lights flare across the station in a clean white path, like an exit drawn in ink. "Exit granted," the station says, satisfied. "Contract secured." Jin pulls Nia, Leora, toward the door. She twists back, crying silently. Mara watches her like she's watching a stranger walk away with something she lost but can't name. Ellis steps closer to the chair, smiling again. "Welcome home, Captain," he says. Mara lifts her eyes to him. Her voice comes out calm. "Who are you?" Mara asks. Ellis's smile freezes. The station, for the first time, it sounds afraid of what it just bought.